Listen, we have a great show lined up for you. I'm your host, Kim Jacobs, better known as the Balance Doctor. And all of our guests that come on, they're either people that have overcome some tremendous odds in their own lives as they balance this thing called life, or they're experts and they're here to share tips and strategies that will help you better balance and manage your life. Grab your virtual seats and let's get ready for some real relevant and relatable content on today's episode of The Kim Jacobs Show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of The Kim Jacobs Show. I am super thrilled to be with you all today as we bring balance to the world, one household at a time. And today we are doing that with our guest, Celeste Johnson. How are you, Celeste?
I am fantastic, Kim. How are you?
I am wonderful. And I was saying backstage that I'm just really grateful that God allowed our paths to connect. And I personally believe it's a lifelong connection. And people Absolutely. Don't always know why things happen the way they do because we met through Les Brown.
That's right.
Here, our relationship goes well beyond that at this point, you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you're right, Kim. You never know. And that's why we have to be open, always open, to, particularly those that are Christ followers, to how things unfold. Because like you said, who knew that we would fall in love with each other as friends, right? And be supportive. And we're grateful for the connection. But the connection doesn't have to be there for us to continue on, right? The connector. Yeah.
Connector. That's good. Oh, okay, y'all. You can tell already that you're in for a tremendous treat. So I hope you're grabbing your virtual seats and please communicate, chime in, let us know where you're visiting in from, and let us know what you hope to learn from today's discussion as well. We're going to be talking with Celeste Johnson, who is the founder of Voices of Hope. And we're talking about Project Thrive 2025. So I know we're not going to go fully into it right now, but just in a nutshell, can you let people know what they can expect to hear from you today?
When we talk about Project Thrive, it really is a response to our world today, right now, particularly in the United States, but globally as well, because what we do here affects the world as well. And there, as anyone that has not had their head in the sand knows that we've been experiencing a lot of change, a lot of upheaval, a lot of emotions have been stirred. Some positive, some not so positive, just a lot of energy out there. And I don't know about whoever you are listening, if you've heard it, I can't imagine you haven't. There's just some disorienting pieces out there. And so Project Thrive is really about helping to give some direction, some structure, some ability to build your resilience muscle and have a strategy going forward so that indeed we're not just surviving. We're not just going to make it through by, our fingernails, but we're going to thrive. And that's what it's really all about.
Okay, this is good, y'all. So we're going to thrive. We're not just going to survive. We're not going to just accept and make adjustments and all of that. We're going to thrive throughout
That's right.
2025. So I'm excited about hearing your spin on this. And if you all are just tuning in, we're talking with Celeste Johnson today, and she's the author of 8 books. She's also a recording artist, can sing beautifully, and actually sang at my initial church service that we had about a month ago. So I'll be posting a lot of pictures. I was waiting for our 1-month celebration. Actually, if I could be completely transparent, the photographer took so many photos, right? When I pulled up, it was a good thing because you want that kind of photographer, right? But there were every bit of like 1,000 pictures. I was like, oh my gosh. With all of these photos in a great way though, but I have to figure out now which ones do I put on social media?
Yeah. Well, that's great. That's a great issue to have, right?
It's a great issue to have, but I promise to conquer it and master it over this Thanksgiving holiday break. Anyway, author of 8 books, recording artist. She ran the New York City Marathon twice, y'all. And she's spoken in 9 different countries, born even in a situation that already helped her come out of the womb being tenacious and resilient. We'll talk about what that is. So welcome, Celeste Johnson.
Thank you so much, Kim.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to do this. We're going to take a quick commercial break. Then when we come back, what I would like to hear you talk about a little bit is just going straight into Project Thrive in 2025. I want to hear from you with all of the challenges that's happening. How do you feel that Project Thrive in 2025 is going to help address some of those issues that's happening in today's world? So as soon as we come back, we want to deep dive right into that. Okay.
Excellent. Yes.
All right. We'll be right back, everyone, right after this commercial.
Hi, I'm Kim Jacobs, the Managing Director of the Charlotte, North Carolina chapter of eWomen Network. I am so excited that you stopped to watch this video. I've got good news for you. You've just discovered an international network of women entrepreneurs who are committed to helping you achieve, succeed, and prosper. We're on a mission here to help 1 million women entrepreneurs each achieve $1 million in annual revenue. Here at eWomen Network, we have a complete success system that supports you every step of the way in building and growing your business. You being here right now is no accident. We're supposed to know about you. We want to meet you to find out how we can help you as well as learn about what you have to offer. With over 500,000 women connected through 118 chapters across the United States, Canada, Australia, and the United Kingdom, you are never alone. If this is resonating with you, please go to ewomennetwork.com/Charlotte. Notice too my contact information. I invite you to reach out to me and to check out our upcoming in-person and online events. I'm really looking forward to introducing you to our special community.
That's beautiful.
All right, everyone. We are back here on the Kim Jacobs Show, and definitely make sure you take a moment to go to ewomennetwork.com/Charlotte, because I would love for you to come to some of our December events that we have planned. Some of them, one is virtually, so no matter where you are in the country, you can be a part of that, but we can only take 12 people in attendance, where you get to share a business challenge. And guess what? Everybody pours in some solutions to you that's in attendance. So go there and you can be able to register for that today. Go ahead and register, because it's coming up on December 5th for that. And then our in-person event is on December 12th, which is our holiday extravaganza. And we're going to have a panel of business entrepreneurs speaking with you. And we're going to be doing some celebratory things too, honoring those that have done extremely well throughout our chapter this month. So Celeste, let's go ahead and talk about Project Thrive in 2025. All that's happened, what's made this become necessary.
Excellent. I'm going to do that. But let me just say before I do, I had the privilege of just seeing that commercial that you did. You look beautiful and you're doing a great job. eWomen's Network is a great organization. I've been involved with them in the past. And so I want to just ditto what Kim was saying, to join in if you can do it, whether you're in Charlotte or not, tune in and find out what they're doing, because they have chapters all over, but of course they don't have Kim all over. So I would absolutely encourage you to do that. It's a great organization. So you're doing a great job. But I wanted to just say that. And then when we talk about Project Thrive 2025, originally, the name came from this whole Project 2025, which was a nightmare. Well, in my opinion, of course, a lot of people agree with it, and that's fine. We have opinions, and that is okay. And I was taking an offshoot, not just that, but let's thrive. So basically, Project Thrive. And as you would know, like I said, anyone would know, regardless of what your beliefs are, this has just been an incredible period of time. The last several months in particular, a lot of unusual things. History has been made in a lot of ways in our country that had never been done before. And there was a point that a great amount of Americans, not all, had the hope of the American dream we'd heard of, the land of the free, the equality, and we were inspired by, or there was an energy that you could observe, again, whether you were directly engaged or not, an excitement that I hadn't seen in a long time in the country. And so all of that was happening. And then based on subsequent results, a lot of people were disenchanted because what they was expecting did not happen. And so there's a lot of angst. And I just noticed that many people, again, depending on where they are on the spectrum, were just disenchanted or uncertain about what's to come. And all of these emotions were percolating to the top. And as a speaker and a trainer, and Kim, you know this, we're in the position to always want to see, how can I help? What can we do? What life can we speak into people and encourage people? So I'm sitting here saying, God, what do I do? How do I help? First, I had to help myself, which is an important piece because I'm a part of it. And I think that's one of the things we talk about in Project Thrive. First, we need to just acknowledge whatever that is. And there are different emotions. There are different things out there. And one key point is to identify which emotion you're dealing with. Because until you can do that, you don't really know how to address it. All of them is not the same. Anger is different from frustration or disappointment or disillusionment. Those are different emotions. Which is it? So part of Project Thrive is helping people to first find their personal agency. Where's their personal power? Turn within, get a grip. It's a surface statement, but we need to just decide. And I pause there on that word because it really comes down to deciding how we're going to move forward. We can stay in the grief, frustration, that arena indefinitely, but that doesn't serve us well, and we will not thrive in a positive way. And so it comes down to deciding. And so part of this whole process, it's a multi-pronged process that I invite people to participate with me on. And I'm going to walk them through not only getting their own personal agency, understanding what they can do, their own power, but there's the physical part. Let's get optimally healthy, because when you feel good, you handle stress better. Yes? Yeah. There's very practical things. There's a spiritual component. Reconnect there, realizing for the believers, now all the people don't believe, but those of us that believe, we know in the end we win. And we can just shift our focus from the immediate, what we see in front of us, to, okay, we can exhale because we know we can navigate this and we'll get through it. There are a variety of things, and that's just a sampling of it, because we need to definitely engage with community more. Now, we need to, more than ever, we're going to need to associate ourselves with other people who are like-minded, who support and encourage us as we go along the way, et cetera, et cetera. So this program is a pretty comprehensive program to proactively take charge, to make it such that you can take difficult situations and turn them around.
That's good.
One last thing before I throw it back to you. One phrase that came to me, and I love it, and I think it really makes the point, is I think of adversity is resilience training. Think of it that way. We're just building our resilience muscles.
That's good.
Capacity to handle more and different things. Life is going to give us all kinds of twists and turns. This is just one part of it, right? So what we want to do, just like we build our muscle when we work out, you have one little weight, 5 pound, 8 pound, 10 pound, you get to 20, and eventually you're able to handle more because you've gone through the previous experience. So think of it that way, put it in context. That's kind of an overview.
That's a great overview, Celeste. And I mean, one that would make people immediately be like, how do I sign up to be a part of this right today? So the overview is beautiful. And one thing I wanted to go back to for a moment is that you were talking about identifying which emotion you're kind of sitting with or dealing with. And I would love for people, whether they are a part of Project Thrive, which, believe it or not, we're all going to be a part of some kind of Project 2025, whether you're thriving, surviving, succumbing. I don't know what you're going to be doing, but the point is something's happening in 2025. You're not just staying in this stagnant
neutral zone. That's right. That's
not just staying there. You're moving forward or backwards, some kind of way. All right. But my question is, how do people go about identifying what that real emotion is? Because I wonder, are people confused about what emotion they're really experiencing within their own selves? So maybe you can shed light.
Absolutely. Well, it's very interesting because my work with emotional intelligence, when I'm working with clients, has taken me to the point of really identifying, and this principle that I'm sharing is identifying what that emotion is. One of the really basic things to do this is real basic, is look it up. You know, there's a large number of emotions. I mean, Google, what are the different emotions? And then try to identify which one do you relate to more. Are you angry? We kind of know that one, but that's a big umbrella too. Am I just disappointed? Disappointed is different than angry, right? And so it's really taking a minute. And this is what we don't do a lot, Kim. We, by and large, because I use this kind of concept in other programs I do, we rarely get off of the treadmill of life and just sit back and reflect on who we are and where we are. Right? We are just so busy running on the treadmill, continually doing the things that are before us. And we do have to do those things, but get off for a minute. Get off for a minute and take a second and look at, okay, where am I? Am I on the right track? What am I thinking? What am I asking yourself those questions? And that's how you will really be able to discern which emotion is it. Just ask that question of yourself. We have an internal wisdom, I believe, but we're so busy, we rarely listen to that. Right. And then again, God is always speaking. He said, no, it's not that, it's this. Right. So those are just basic practical things that I strongly encourage you to do. And what we're doing in this group, we're going to have a group of people who are on that path to deciding we're going to make this an amazing year, no matter what it looks like. Because think about it. If we look at our history, there are people in previous generations who did a lot more with a lot less. And they had challenges that were way worse than what we have. We have challenges, not denying that, but it's not really new. It's new to us because we haven't dealt with it, right? But people did that. They had the resolve. They had it. And so this is an opportunity that I'm really open to, is to help us to understand that and shift how we think about what we're dealing with, because that's where it starts.
That's good. And I did exactly what you said when you were just talking a second ago. And I went to verywellmind.com. I'll actually put this here. I'll put this here for you all in the comment section too, because it went through 6 different types of emotions, and it's happiness, sadness, fear, disgust, anger, and surprise. And all of these emotions have different
degrees of it.
Right. Yeah. But the thing that I'm also thinking is, because as I'm hearing you speak, is bringing out so many thoughts in my mind about the fact that there are people that may be sitting in their own emotion that they've identified is their emotion. Disappointment. I'll use that as an example. It might just be, I'm thoroughly hurt by what I'm experiencing here. But then when it comes across to another person, the other person may be angry that you're disappointed, or the other person may be like, or afraid that what's going to be the outcome of this, because now your disappointment is rubbing me in this way that makes me get on defense, and now I'm afraid of what the outcome. So it's like, just because we're dealing with an emotion doesn't mean that that's how the other person on the other end has that same emotion. They're processing it their way.
That is true. And the one thing we have to remember always, Kevin, and we do live in community with other people, and we do have impact. The question is, what kind of impact will you have? You know, I talked about one of my new real thrusts that I'm working on is that I truly believe we are designed to impact. We are built that way. And so we have to make sure that we are in alignment with our assignment, with what we're supposed to do. When we take that ownership, and we decide, we think that we want to impact in a positive way, then just like what you just gave the example, I could be fearful, but over here, or I could be disappointed and somebody else is getting fearful. I can position myself to say, yes, I see it. My head is not in the sand. I realize what is. I'm not ignoring that, right? I ignore that, but I'm choosing to look at it as a way of strengthening my creativity. That means I have to come up with a creative way around this, or it's helping me to think differently than I was before, or it's helping me to dig deeper, or it's helping me to engage with others. It's requiring me to do something different, which can be a positive. Let's look at it that way, right? Because that's where you start thriving instead of, dying, right? Yeah. So we can't control anyone else. we can influence other people. We can impact them by our behavior and our choices. And that's where you take ownership, and that's what you do.
Oh, okay. So how are you going to measure the success? Anytime someone's starting an initiative or a project and it's grassroots, even though you are not a grassroots kind of girl, don't get me wrong, you've started many things, Dare to Succeed, and all kinds of projects you've done. How will you measure the success of Project Thrive in 2025?
Oh my goodness, just from anecdotes from people changing their language, their behavior. Those are two different things, because I was talking with a colleague the other day who is still in the frustrated anger phase, right? And, over time, those emotions they don't always, can dissipate if you don't keep feeding it. We know that whatever we feed will continue to grow. That's right? If you want to stay angry, you can continue to mull over time and time again what got you angry in the beginning. I mean, I have to admit, I'm not perfect. Okay, so I'm in it as well, even though I'm facilitating others.
You need to tell me you're not.
I'm not. I know. I'm working on it, but no. But the idea is, I'm wise enough to know that I can't watch this message over and over and expect to shift my thinking. I want to stay in tune to know fundamentally what's happening, but I don't need to hear it over and over. We need to monitor our media consumption. What do we listen to? We can change the music that we listen to. All of those have impacts. Those are choices, ladies and gentlemen. We decide how we program our mind and ultimately our lives. And so what I want to do, what I'm creating, is an environment, a safe environment, a fortifying environment, one that will help you counter all of the madness that's out there. Some things you can't prevent that's going to come to you, but you don't have to absorb it. You can push it, bounce back now. And if you're strong enough, which is what I want to strengthen us to be the one to influence instead of being influenced.
Good.
Yeah, we can do this. We have the capacity. That is what I know is part of my superpower. I believe without question in the possibility of people. And that sometimes they don't see it themselves, but that's one gift I have. I said, but I know you could do this, right? And so I'm providing the environment and the context and the things you need to do. Here's another area I really want to make sure I don't forget to bring up, which is really smart. I have a lot of offshoots from this. We need to look at our finances. We need to make sure we're showing them up right now. Because of the uncertainty, we've got indicators of what might happen. No one knows for sure what's going to happen. No one knows that. But we have good indicators of what's planning to come down the pipeline. If you know that, don't wait till it happens and continue to be upset about it. What do we do now? So finances, tightening those up, purging things you don't need, getting rid of excess. I mean, there's things we can proactively do that will fuel our spirit and fortify and prepare us for what's to come. So that's another area we'll talk about.
Yes, an area that will be a part of Project Thrive in 2025 is going to be a deep dive. Anytime Celeste is doing any projects that she's ever spearheaded, it's something that is actionable items. In my opinion, it's something that you can immediately take from the training, take from her book, take from her teaching, and immediately implement it into your everyday life.
Yeah.
So what are some of the strategies or tools that Project Thrive 2025 will actually help people overcome that emotional exhaustion or despair? Because people are really down and out. So how is this project going to help them with that?
Well, first of all, there's again a lot of tentacles here, but let's deal with the exhaustion and the frustration and the emotions to dissipate that first. And then I want to make sure I go to this other piece that's about food, which is really pretty amazing. Okay, so I said that now so I won't forget. So emotionally, ladies and gentlemen, is how we can impact our emotions by what we feed our brain. We have to think something in order to trigger the emotion. Something has to trigger the emotion. It doesn't just happen, And so if that be the case, then we have to proactively choose different triggers. We have to override the ones we can't control. There are some things we can't control,
Yes.
but what we focus on are the things we do control.
Hmm.
And that's a huge piece. It's taking a look at my life. There's external factors and there's internal factors. The internal factors you completely control. And you can structure things around you. We have the agency, the ability, the wherewithal to structure things that will fuel us, to give us the thriving strategy versus one that's going to leave us on the side of the road. So how do you do the emotions? You acknowledge them, which we just talked about. What is it? Okay, great. I'm frustrated. Okay, great. Can I do anything about the trigger? No. What can I do about that frustration? Right. And let me give you an example. Here's one. Very practical. Like you said, Kim, try to be very, very practical. So everyone knows that has tuned in at all in the news that one of the suggested policies that is going to affect all of us is the word tariffs. Some people know what that is, some people don't. I didn't know always, but the fundamental, just in simple terms, not to go into the lesson here, although I have a whole program to talk about tariffs to help you understand what it is and how it will impact you. Fundamentally, it will impact our everything, the things that we use and consume that comes from other countries.
Right.
There's going to be an extra charge attached to that we, the consumers, will pay. Many people have it misunderstood that other countries are going to pay for it. But the reality is we're going to pay for it. Okay, so with that in mind, that is outside of our control. We can't control the tariff, that if they do it or don't do it. We can't control what the amount is. That's not what we control. What we can control is what we consume that's coming from outside the country.
Right. You're right.
Well, we can look at, so what I did, one of the things I did is I'm deep diving in all of this is, okay, so what are those goods? What are the foods? What are the goods? Right. So there are electronics, there are different foods that we don't typically grow here. So what you could do is one of two things. You can start growing your own food, some of those. I'm not saying of a whole garden, but I love it when I do my little tomatoes, my peppers. I mean, I can get them in and grow your own. You can partner with local farmers that don't have to do the importing. Start making those relationships. We have an amazing farmers market on Saturdays, and my community is like really off the chart, but that wouldn't require any import. So again, you're looking at those things. Work on your diet now. Adjust to those things that aren't imported. That's one way. And another thing is, a big one, especially from China, which is a big importer, is electronics. So here's what I said, very practical. If you're planning to change, I'm planning to change my phone because it's been a few years and I wasn't planning to do it right away. But if I'm going to do it now before the tax comes. If you're going to get a new computer, do it now if you can afford it. I'm just saying, be strategic so that that's what we can do. We can't control the tariff, but we can make different choices as we go along. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, it makes sense. So somebody should be typing, be creative, be strategic, what else? Yeah. You just said so many things.
Start changing your behavior, your patterns, look at different foods and how you're going to adjust that. Partner with different organizations that are supporting local farmers, local domestic supporters. Change your equipment. I mean, there's so many things. I just break it all down.
Oh, yeah. But I see. Thank you, Mackenzie. She typed that backstage for me. I was like, please, somebody type it. All right. Change the way you grow stuff. That's the millennial way of wording it. Change the way you grow your stuff. That's
right. That's and good. It's actually fun. It's actually pretty cool. I mean, I know we're really busy and all, but you take this little seed. I used to go get the little seeds and you gotta monitor it. But you put it out there, and the next thing you know, I got a little tomato, and then I pull it off and put it in my salad. It's like, what? It's kind of cool. I mean, you don't have to do a whole garden, but you can grow anything, and it's pretty cool.
My daughter, she grew a garden several years, and I'm saying some of the most beautiful zucchini, and I mean, they were really nice and hearty. And then even her watermelon that she grew one year, it was a candy watermelon, and it tasted like like some crystallized, beautiful tasting candy that you would go and buy at a retreat somewhere, like a 5-star resort. I was like, this is some great stuff. But then the rabbits ate all of the broccoli. Even though we put foil, you learn all these little tricks, like put foil to keep them away and different things. No, they just ate right around it. Like, no, that's not going to stop us. We want that broccoli. This is an awesome conversation. Who is that says that? Oh, Sharice. Sharice said, hey, this is an awesome conversation and great information. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
So, it's just so important that we make this mental shift.
That's right.
And I am excited. I really am excited because I said, I need it. And I'm using it, but I'm selfish if I don't share it with others. And that's who we are. Kim, you and I are people who speak life to other people. And some people just need someone to come alongside them, say, come on, we can do this, right? Exactly. Come on, let's partner. Let's, how do we use your expertise and my expertise and create something different? I want to go back to,
and I want to go somewhere too with you for something.
Okay, go ahead. I'll let you go, and then I'll respond.
You're a host too now, so two of us hosting, it might be like, no, you go. I just want to make sure that we don't end this show without hearing some of the storytelling component and how that will infuse into Project Thrive 2025, because you're a masterful storyteller, and I think that some kind of way that's going to be weaved into this project, and I would like for you to talk about that some.
Well, it is a wonderful thing. Storytelling in general is just a powerful way of communicating because it is a connector. People will remember a story before they remember facts. They just do. They can tell you the nuances of a story, but I don't remember. And our job as giving the story need to make sure we connect what the point is of the story so they can get that. But in this instance, as well as anything that I actually do, is I'm encouraging people to optimize their success first. And then that success becomes your story that you can share with someone else that inspires them.
Yeah.
You mentioned earlier, Dare to Succeed is my book, one of my best-selling books, Dare to Succeed Despite the Odds. That would be the next step after we do Project Thrive and I get people settled in a little bit and they're ready to do some things. Then we're going to move them to the next stage of Dare to Succeed. And I did that actually as a revision as after even this book that talks about doing it despite the odds and practical success skills and habits that will help you carry on. All of that's geared toward helping you craft your story, helping you realize you are designed to impact, and then telling that story. So we do weave that along the way. And I encourage people, here's another really big tip when you want to deal with emotions, is you write out, journal. It's less expensive than therapy, but it's almost as effective, if not more so. Get it out, write. And there's something about your thinking that is different when you actually write it out versus thinking it. There really is research behind that. And so write out everything that you're thinking. Whatever that is, and get it out of you. And you can decide what to do with that or not. Let me say this. I encourage you not to vent on paper toward a person and send it immediately. I do not recommend that. I do not. Let me make sure I'm clear about that. It's good to get it out. Matter of fact, what I encourage, and we'll probably weave this into the program, I'm just thinking of it right now, is something I've done in the past. We will probably do that exercise where we actually get you to write it out and then do a release ceremony. You probably have heard of those before. Have you heard of a release ceremony before?
I've been a part of release ceremonies, and it's very therapeutic.
Very therapeutic. And so there's various ways. We're outdoors, we can burn it or we can shred it or whatever, but it's just actually a tangible way of processing it to release it. And sometimes I must admit there were circumstances where people I was trying to release, I had to do it multiple times. I had to get it out. First time didn't work.
And that happens. I'm glad you addressed that.
Yeah, but these are very real, very proven, very practical things that we can take on and take ownership of and decide in the midst of difficulty that we can make some inroads. Let me give you one more thing though. that I'm giving you lots. And I know this is
a whole lot. This is a whole Project Thrive right here.
I know it is, but that's what I want to say. I want you to join us. I really want you all to join us. I'm going to do an information session, a little bit more in depth on how you can participate over a period of time and become a part of the community and learn the lessons and make an investment in it. Because when we do, because we don't, we just kind of take it for granted, but it's so worth it. And we've got some things that are going to be helping you to grow. One area that's also been in the discussion in our world, I think is really important, the potential of a lot of people losing their jobs, government positions, the Department of Education. A lot of our people, young children, may be impacted by programs no longer being there. Okay, that's scary in a lot of ways. We can't control. Remember those things that if they do that, it's not done, so it may not happen, but it's purported that it will. So you don't wait until it happens to prepare. You prepare before. So if that happens, what should we be doing? My idea, there's a couple ideas. Why don't we learn how to build more education programs for our youth in our communities? We have control of that. Right. And so expanding in areas like that while we can makes sense. There's been a move. You don't have to be brilliant to know there's been a move to try to suppress some of the materials about our history and books and things and taking them out of schools. We have access to them. So let us make them available. Right. So it's the ownership that we must take. And the circumstances that we look at that we may say is horrible or disempowering or whatever, that's what's stimulating us to tap into something we would not have tapped into had it not happened.
That's good. Really good. I see a lot of comments too that's coming in. I do want to acknowledge you. I see you putting them up. So Mackenzie, pop them up for a second. And that was a great point that you just made, Celeste. And we can do something about it. Take some ownership of it. I see you, Helena, and saying, yes. I see you, Mother Eleanor Campbell, saying that I look beautiful, or Celeste looks beautiful, or we both look beautiful.
Thank you. Beautiful.
And Candace Grant said a comment, but you put it too fast, so I couldn't see it. But thank you so much, Candace, for being there. And Ella Spradley said, good morning to my mom. That's my mom, Kim and Celeste.
Hello. Yes.
Show and this episode. So thank you so much for being here, Mom. Cherise said, this is an awesome conversation and great information. Thank you. And I see a lot of you. Sometimes I know different ones you don't. I think the Tara will be brought in because of Donald Trump, is what Mackenzie said. Thank you so much, Mackenzie. Pamela Howard is on as well. Mackenzie is on. Rhonda, Trudy, I see Candace, I see Ella, I see Cheryl, I see all of you all, Eleanor, Helena, Dr. Tina J. Ramsey from CTR Media. I see all of you all that are out there tuning in, whether you've commented or not. I greatly appreciate your participation. And Absolutely. Speaking of which, CTR Media Network has afforded the Kim Jacobs Show the opportunity to now stream. We are on television on Roku. So during the holiday season, it's already episodes out there. Go check out the Kim Jacobs Show on Roku and Fire Stick or something. I know you got to learn. Okay, Amazon and all the lot, whatever the TV, all the channels that you could get on there. Make sure you check the Kim Jacobs Show out. Thank you, CTR Media Network, Dr. Tina J. Ramsey, for making that happen. All right, so
that's great.
The leaders, I think leadership is going to be paramount in this, because our role as leaders play a key factor in how this process gets rolled out. The challenges that are specific to even leaders, such as the burnout and motivating our teams in these uncertain times. There's a lot of things that the leaders could be doing to make Project Thrive 2025 flawless, seamless. But what can we be doing, in your opinion, as leaders?
First of all, I seriously encourage you to enroll in either this or some kind of a proactive program to help you strengthen yourself, particularly as the leader, because you are an influencer. People are following you, looking at you, how you're handling it, and will likely respond accordingly depending on how impactful you are as a leader. So I strongly encourage leaders to participate in, again, I welcome you in my program, but any program that's going to help you strengthen your resilience, strengthen your communication skills, strengthen your ability to help navigate and help others handle their issues. Emotional intelligence is going to be more important now than ever. And that means being able to identify where other people are coming from, as well as your own, and managing that more effectively instead of responding or reacting to circumstances. So all of that is really on us to decide to do that. My whole thing is about, leadership presence is my umbrella, right? Helping people. And all of this fits under your presence. What's your gravitas? How do you look? How do you communicate? How do you present this to your team? And when you are grounded, when you can walk in as the leader, whether it's and let me say this before I go further, whether it's a big team or not, we are all leaders in our own right. We're leading either our own lives. Hello. Who's making the decisions and deciding in your own life, right? Your family, you're influencing there, your community. So you don't have to have a title to be a leader. That's a really important piece. And so know that in your church, people are looking to you. I sing in the choir, right? And people see me and even rehearsal, I'm called out a little bit more because I'm doing solo. I don't know everybody's name in the choir. It's a lot, but most people know mine, right? So what does that mean? It doesn't mean I'm any better or different. It just means people are looking at me. When you're up there in front, they're looking at you, right? And they're, not necessarily following you, but you have influence. So all of us have that. The point is that it's really critical is for us to take that seriously. We are designed to impact. That's my whole thing. I think all of us are uniquely gifted and talented with different things, and it's up to us to identify what that is. Not trying to be Kim. Kim is great. I want to be similar in her arena, but I don't want to be her because I have a unique gift that's mine, right? Or vice versa. So making sure you're identifying what that is and then owning that and giving that. And that's what I think is really important for leaders right now.
That's great. Oh, I'm over here myself. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is such great stuff. So I don't know about you all. If y'all are not typing a lot in the comment section over here, I hope you're at least taking notes like I am, because it's some great stuff that Celeste you're sharing today. And what I want people, as we walk away from today's episode, you're a voice of hope. And you have a whole movement that I've been a part of already for years with being a voice of hope. So you have a whole tribe of people that are like, I want to be a voice of hope. It's like over 100,000 people that are voices of hope throughout the United States and the world. How are you going to marry the voices of hope with Project Thrive? Even though I know that may not be a question per se.
No, I get it. No, actually what's wonderful has been happening lately, and I'm really grateful for this. It's becoming very clear because I do have these different mandates, I believe, that have been given to me. And it's like, well, how do they work together? So that's a very valid question. So the Project Thrive is really the now. It's addressing what's happening right now. The emotional turmoil, the uncertainty, the angst that some are feeling, and even people who thought they were making the right choice and they're like, I'm not sure. It's addressing the now. That's what Project Thrive is. And so it's kind of an intro. Come in here, let's get you grounded, regrounded, and in a direction that's going to help you to really thrive next year and beyond. Following that all of this is leading to Voices of Hope. Following that is the Dare to Succeed Despite the Odds. Let me give you some tools and tips and habits and behaviors that if you build those up, you can succeed no matter what the odds are, no matter what the circumstances are. So it's another level of development. That's next. And then following that, I have Design for Impact. I'm looking on my wall because I've been working on these different things. Design for Impact is where we go deeper. That's where I think all leaders should be in that for sure, where we have two trifectas. One is the design part and understanding who you are, what the gifts are, what's the legacy, where am I going? And then how do I really frame this? What's my story? What is my story? What's my message? What's my angle? What do I bring? How do I connect with people? All of that's on that side. And then the other side is when we actually dive into more practical things of execution. How do you accelerate execution in a more effective way? So it's when we do this, when people go through this,
Mhm.
they naturally become voices of hope. Their success story is the story, and then I provide different or suggest different ways that people can voice that. It could be on a platform. It could be in a book. Some people want to write books. It
Yeah.
could be just in a community, in the community. It could be in their job. They have different vehicles to communicate the story, but we've helped you craft it. We've helped you identify it. We've helped you to strengthen the story. And then we provide suggested options for you to dissipate that and become that voice of hope. And I love it. I recently did an article called Dare to Become a Global Voice of Hope for a colleague of mine. She has a magazine that's called Bootstrap.
Okay.
Really, really powerful. And so with our world, with technology, your story literally can be global. It's like, just tell the message. You know, I'm starting up finally my show. I've gone through the training with Ken on launching my own program, but that will be another vehicle for people that come in through this program to be able to have a platform to tell the story. And then annually, I'm planning to have a anthology, a book at the end, those that want to opt in to tell their story. So that's how we weave in the process.
Yes. Yes. Okay. And you know what one thing she mentioned is that she did take my training on how to start your own show from scratch. And I like the fact that you, as a leader at the level that you are in leadership around the country, you still humbled yourself, took a training to be able to better your own craft. And why would you do something like that? Because not everybody that's a leader is willing to sit under other leaders at the level that you did with me, taking the show.
Because I'm smart. Smart leaders keep learning. Come on now. You know, as long as you are on this planet, you can always be better. You can learn something. Nobody knows everything. You do not have a corner on the market. You could be really great at one thing, but there's a lot of things you don't know. And I'm saying, why recreate the wheel? She's doing the show. She knows how to do it. Let me go and learn. That's what I meant about being smart. I mean, come on. It's not like I'm more brilliant than other people. I just know that it makes sense. It just makes sense. When we're investing, let me say this, talking about being smart, we're coming into the holiday season. And this is something I'm actually doing a video this afternoon about it. We're going to spend money on gifts and toys and a lot of things. And that's fine. But one of the things you should be at the top of your list is investing in your brain, in yourself, in development, and learning how to be better. Take that $500 you're going to buy something for that you won't remember where it is next year and put it in yourself. So you grow your business, you grow your mind, you grow your capacity to be resilient. That's where the money goes, because that will serve you for the rest of your life. Where that broken, whatever it is. I mean, it's not anything wrong with things. I like things. But that's what I say. So yes, this program that Kim is doing, that she provides, is great. She's all the nuances. You don't have to try to figure it out. She's already figured it out, and she'll lay it out for you. This is what you do. Here's the best way to approach this. Have you thought about that? This is why you should do this, because this will give you this. All of those answers, you don't have to try to figure it out. She's already there. So you pay people. There was one of my coaches who says you pay to reduce the time that it takes to learn things. You go to people who know it. They tell you, so you don't have to try to figure it out, go read and research. You already know it. How much it costs for me to get that out of your brain into mine?
Right. So I can start implementing it. Well, one thing that I learned from Sandra Yancey, and it was a really big epiphany for me, and so I keep saying it, is that she does this whole 13-month calendar type of thing. Mm-hmm. So instead of waiting until January 1st to jumpstart her business, and I mean, she said like $150,000 in different things for trainings that she gathers this information, and she trains us on some of these concepts. Yes. So instead of like shutting down for the month of December and doing nothing, where you may see some repeats of my shows and different things like that, but believe it or not, I am behind the scenes working on ramping up starting December 1st versus waiting till January 1st. So it's like,
oh my God. You just triggered. I have to tell you this. So I'm doing lots of things, and I know when we give you the link, you can see all the things that I'm doing. But one that I'm in right now, and it's not too late for people that want to do it. It's called Finish Strong, Start Ready, and it's right in line with what you just said about Yancey. It's like we usually coast through the holidays. Okay, we've got parties. Okay, it's important to spend time with family and friends. Absolutely. Have fun, but not 24/7. This is the perfect time, man, because so many people are off. And when I was in sales, this is when it became really evident. I was actually proactively in sales, and it's the best time to cut through. You can get to decision makers because a lot of the layers are gone. I mean, it's just that the people aren't working. So what you do is, we have 5 weeks. I'm in it right now. I started with a 12-week program, and we still do that, but it's Finish Strong, Start Ready. We have 5 weeks. You can do a lot in 5 weeks.
A lot.
You can get a lot. You can lose that 10 pounds that you've been wanting to lose more. You can clean out, declutter your closets that you've been wanting to do forever. You can, do so many different things. But why don't you do that so that on New Year's Eve, when you're celebrating something you just did? Yeah. I mean, it's like, and then you're already prepared. Part of my program, and what it sounds like that she does as well, is prepare you when you walk into the year. You already have a plan of action. It's not waiting until January 2nd after New Year's. You go, okay, now what are we going to do this year? No, we walk in because we're ready to hit the ground running. Do that now. Do it now. It will catapult your year. Talk about thriving. I'm telling you, I'm excited about that too. So I'm doing that. If you go to this site, the bit.ly.connect with Celeste, just use the bit.ly link. You'll see the different options. You'll see Thrive. We're going to have an information meeting. One is tonight at 7. We're going to have a meeting tomorrow. If you want more information to know how you can join us, that will be in there. A link will be in there so you can do it. And then the Finish Strong, Start Ready. It's not too late. We're offering, let me say this too, as a Black Friday is coming up, we're offering a special. Whoever enrolls can bring a friend for free.
Oh,
so
my
basically
gosh.
It's 50% off, right? Whatever you want to enroll, bring a friend. Make that your gift to them. Bring them in, and it's free for the second person. So that's another option. That's under Finish Strong, Start Ready. So it's just a lot of things you can do. My book is out there. I'm just, come on in. Let's make something happen.
I'm so excited. Listen, you guys, I'm serious today. Like, don't just put it down and say, oh, I'll get to it, and then it slipped through the cracks and you forget. Yeah. Go take a moment and register. Right when you go to this bit.ly link, let me show you what you see. I like to show people stuff. So.
Okay.
I'm going to share.
Which is another, I found out another resource. There's so many resources. I'm grateful for having the time and the energy to find things that'll work for people. I work for me first, and then I share it with other people. So, so you'll see me. Yeah, that's my
I want to just pull this up because that way you'll get a chance to see what's in the link tree. You're going to be able to see Celeste. You'll get her YouTube channel. You'll get an intro, a Thrive intro meeting, Finish Strong, Start Ready. The link is there. Everything is there. Dare to Succeed book launch, her website information, LinkedIn, how to stay connected with her on Facebook and Instagram. Everything that you need to know is in that particular link regarding Celeste Johnson. And then also, I love this, even though I know this isn't what we were necessarily even talking about, but Celeste is very modest, and I love that. That's a blessing. But this woman, when you're getting trained by someone, you want to know, well, what have they done? Where have they been? Whatever. So here's the thing. Celeste is a powerhouse, and she has spoken in some of the largest rooms around the world, on stages, traveling the country with Les Brown, Dr. Les Brown, and being a forerunner for him in the capacity of opening up and being the person that sings and intros before he hits the stage. She has, again, very energizing keynote addresses herself, and she does training and coaching. She does membership programs, boot camps, masterminds, you name it. She is a hidden, you know how they say a hidden figure? She's a hidden figure, okay? This woman is a force to be reckoned with. So I do also want you to go to Celeste Johnson, and Celeste Johnson is JONSON, CelesteJohnson.com. And that's for the audio podcast listeners that's not seeing this on the screen. It's CelesteJohnson.com. And so I do want you to take advantage of connecting with Celeste.
Thank you. That was so kind. And it also, the link to my website is also on the other tree as well. So that's another option if you go there. But thank you, Kim. That it is humbling, and I'm grateful. I have had a privilege to speak in various countries around the world, which is quite amazing and a blessing. But I'm just right here, right now. Those of you, again, I'm offering an option to work with me, but work with somebody. Decide to invest in you. Decide in fortifying yourself to become fearless, that nothing that comes your way you can't handle. We can handle this. When I talk about the marathon, that's a big thing. Only less than 1% of the population ever ran it. What? Okay, but I did it. I did it, and I did it twice. And many people do it. Not 90% of the people, but but I can do big things. I did the 75 hard. Some of you may have heard of that. That's hard, but you can do hard things. I can do hard things. We can make this happen. And so collaborating with the people that's going to support you is really, really critical. So I welcome you, and I thank you, Kim, for this opportunity to share these ideas. And I hope it stimulated you, encouraged you, made you excited about what's possible in the future.
It's made me, and I'm your friend, and I'm even more motivated. I'm like, let's go, Project Thrive 2025. Y'all connect with Celeste right at her bit.ly link is bit.ly/connect with Celeste, and make sure that you do that right away. I am asking you all to partner with the Kim Jacobs Show. We are looking for 10 partners today that are willing to just contribute $100 to our broadcast. We literally, only way we thrive in 2024, 2020, whatever, since the pandemic, when we started doing the virtual show, is through community contributions from community members like yourselves. We're bringing balance to your household. And even if it's not looking like you're balanced from the world perspective, you're in connection with God. You're learning better how to have more synergy in your home, more harmony in your home and in your life. And that's happening because of some of the guests that come right through the Kim Jacobs Show. So take a moment and just pour into our broadcast. Partner with us. You can do Cash App, $Kim Jacobs Inc. You can also do PayPal, paypal.me/Kim Jacobs Inc. You can do Venmo at The Kim Jacobs Show. Zelle is 704-962-7161. But any way that you do the partnership, we greatly appreciate it. And we will be doing some shout outs throughout the holidays to just acknowledge your contributions to the Kim Jacobs Show. And if you know that you are interested in starting your own show, we're going to start a new class right in December. At first, I was going to wait till January, but after my training, I'm going to start it in December. Because guess what? Wouldn't it be awesome for you to be able to kick your show off in the new year versus just starting? Yes.
Let's do that. Yeah, that's great. Let me say something. I'm gonna sweeten the pot a little bit. So all of those, I absolutely encourage you to tithe and pour into the Kim Jacobs Show. Partner with her outright. And for those of you who do decide to join me in anything that comes from this show, that I'm going to tithe another 10% on top of that from anyone that has done it, that comes from here, that you sign up. I'm going to take 10% of what comes to me is going to go to her show as well. So that'll be cherry on top. Don't go directly to her first. But whatever you might do, I just want to add to what you're doing, Kim. It's so important. I'm so proud of you. So.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Celeste. You're always so giving. I appreciate that. And I do want y'all to know that Giving Tuesday is happening, and that's coming up next Tuesday. And please know that Gabe's Heart Foundation, we purchased defibrillators to be placed into public spaces. And so if you're looking for an organization to give to on Giving Tuesday, please make sure you consider Gabe's Heart Foundation. We were able to give a defibrillator to a church that won that this past month. And so I'm excited about that. And we're getting 2 more defibrillators thanks to one of our primary sponsors for 2024. So check out GabesHeartFoundation.org. And my final invitation to you all is to let you know that I am a new pastor here in Charlotte, North Carolina. So anybody that's watching, whether it's hearing it on audio, watching it here on the different platforms, or seeing it even on television through the CTR media platforms, make sure you know that we worship at the Brownstone Signature Events on Sundays at 10 a.m. in Charlotte, North Carolina. And I invite you to come and be a part of our worship experience. We're standing on the promises of God at Promise Fellowship Church. So please make sure you come and fellowship with us. Give us a closing comment, Celeste, please. You said everything. I don't know what you could
I did,
possibly.
but the comment I'm gonna go back to that I really resonates with me is keep in mind that adversity is resilience training. Adversity is resilience training, and you need to be resilient. Then you can navigate and do whatever. But look at the challenges as your friend, because adversity is resilience training.
Adversity. Somebody typed that, and I think that I saw Candace had typed that earlier, right when you first said it. Adversity is resilient training. It's just training ground for us to be a better version of ourselves.
Absolutely.
You're masterful at what you do. I'm really hoping that so many people will register. Is it like a kickoff date for this training?
Yes, we will discuss. I'm going to have the connection there. If you can meet me tonight at 7:00 on a Zoom meeting, I'll explain all of the details. I will have, so that's what the link is. When you go there, you can connect with us tonight, and I will have another session tomorrow at noon for those that can't do it tonight. But I'll explain all of the processes and how we're going to do it, because some of it's going to be an ebook is going to go out, so you have a tangible something to check off, and then we're going to have live sessions as well, and a community is going to be established. So I'll explain all of that, but it's coming up right away. So please do that. And I would love for you to have it. There's a link on there. I'm going to be doing a relaunch with my book, exactly, where it's going to be fun too. So there are a lot of things that'll come up on Amazon relaunch, and you have live sessions where we talk about things. So lots of great things happening. But I would encourage you. So my final thing, if I can say this, Kim, and I'm done. And you asked for a quote before, and I love the adversity is resilience training, but I would say this. I dare you to succeed despite the odds and become a voice of hope.
I dare you what? One more time.
I dare you to succeed despite the odds and become a voice of hope.
That's a dare. A double dog dare.
Double dog dare.
All right, so please copy me or tag me on social media so I can share the exact instructions with everyone on how they can be a part of tonight and tomorrow's. It's a gift. It's a gift to you to come and be a part of the Zoom. It's no charge for you to come and hear the information. Correct. So tag all of your friends on this episode today, and definitely when I share the information with you on social media, share that on your social media pages so as many people as possible can hear this information this evening, okay? And if you're watching it as a replay, because sometimes my shows will replay at different times and it's not Thanksgiving time frame that you're watching it, just connect with Celeste regardless of when it is that you're rewatching a show or an episode of mine, okay? Thank you, Celeste.
Thank you, Kim. It was great. And thank you all for listening. Those that are watching, I believe in you. I believe in you. I believe in you, Celeste Johnson, and I believe in each and every one of you too. So y'all have a beautiful rest of your day. I'll be back again tomorrow at 11:00 a.m. Eastern Standard Time with a guest that's going to be talking about how Africans, immigrants, have difficulty as they're transitioning here in the United States. It's going to be a deep episode. You don't want to miss it. Be in your virtual seats again. I love all of you all, and I'll see you again. Thanks, Mackenzie. Thanks, Cassandra. I'll see you all again, everybody. Thanks, Celeste. I'll see you tomorrow at 11 a.m. Okay. Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of The Kim Jacobs Show and for being in the virtual studio audience. Your presence truly does make a difference, and I look forward to you bringing your friends and family to join you in the virtual studio audience Monday through Friday at 11:00 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I look forward to seeing you and make it a great day.